Adolf Benz, Colombia, SSS, United States. The autodidactic position in quantum mechanics and the duality of abstraction is misappropriated for explication and extortion, kleptomaniac, post-communist regime, org mafia, Dr.Hc. And org mafia uses so that universal socialization doesn't take place. The American tabloid democracy uses presidential candidates Hillary and Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Jeb Bush, Bloomberg, independent perhaps, in a crisis where the Semitic wars continue, civil wars and Semitization of dialectic economics and the capitalism. American stock exchange have a new Adolf Madoff, where there's appropriation of capitalism and this abstract duality. Conceptual art and contra-conceptual doesn't reflect Orozco Siqueiros Rivera revolutions, Bramante Bernini Benza revolutions as collective Prometheus, collective metamorphosis. It identifies polemical bipartisan view of Obama's Obamacare and policy as imperialist, fascist, quadratist, CIA, NKVD positions on Islam as new imperialist ground for imperialism. Post-communist bloc Soviet Union doesn't receive Marshall Plan, so now the Black Ops and the Siberian gulags, Bratislava Gulag and Guantanamo prison cells, all controlled by Castro's regime, Cuba as Guantanamo prison camp, are absurd because artists are good men who reflect objectively the world to its people and colonial imperialism like Gandhi, Jimmy Carter and Nelson Mandela. It isn't the racial prejudice of polemics or Semitic crimes. It's the DNA is objectively inbred. In 4000 BC in Macedonia, the DNA was already so mixed that you couldn't distinguish the Hebrew DNA from the rest of them. This carries over to Buddha a la Christ and polemics in warfare, skin taxidermy warfare, into quadrilateralist, imperialist, fascist regime from Napoleon defacing Leonardo's bronze equestrian statues in Milano, and Napoleon defacing the Sphinx, and Xerxes anti-Armen monarchy. The position is that Napoleonism still continues under CIA, NKVD uniforms, while Indochina policy and hypocrisy in the arts, like my teachers Hans Hakadori Ashton, and the trustees who own my work, like Edward Albee and Nicole Claxburn and Drawing Center, Museum Modern Art trustees, do not allow the congruency of universal state as the state of art, the Columbium Universum, Columbium Officium, in the optological concilium is dialectic still autodidactic. Talking to agents under Social Security and Socialismus, modern summa cum laudatum, is that most countries colonial have socialism except Americans. And this breach and the fragmentation is corrupted through body cartel, drug cartel, the Laos triangle, and modern Vietnam, Antien, Laos, modern Central Europe, where there's being resold arms to ex-communist regime in new modern fascist scrimmages. Same occurs with Iran and Saddam and Gaddafi, so that the communist constituency has trained the fascist regimes. Now, this being as it is, they're active in destroying each other. So therefore, communism has lost its funding, Marshall Plan money, Versailles Treaties credibility, and also is being used now by organized mafia to exploit American citizens. and geniuses with Nobel Prize, Kaiser Kunst, and Fulbright, Bologna, multi-emirate Fulbright, Columbia College of Physician Surgeons, Columbia, Bologna University, Johns Hopkins, Thomas Masaryk, the Otto von Habsburg Prize. Adolf Benza is a recipient of many awards, but his life is a complete nobody. He's completely explicitly extorted by kleptomaniac organized crime, and in America still on the autodidact. The guardians of quantum control, modern art dealers association, held by Cy Newhouse's, who owns Adolf Benza's work. All these people basically from the American Stock Exchange own my work, but the problem is that they do not actively confirm that universal man now mediates in the arts between science and theo-fascist wars. It's not become official, so that people like Dr.Hc and Abelowski use ex-communist regime to say these people don't exist, that they are truly nobody. I am a nobody in a tragico-commedia of the apocryphal oath that Bruno Bramante, Bernini, Buonarroti, Michelangelo, Orozco Siqueiros do not have a modern revolutionary painter. Their status quo universal man. Their socialismus is brought into the quadratis Hegelian landscape to the epics of the horizon and the new peace at universal pantheon. Modern ICCC is no different than Mussolini's race to modern socialismus, but Hitler betrayed him with wars. There's no different that America betrays its own CIA and sensibility by its dialectical sensibility wars. Sensibility is in a dualistic dialogue, Semitization and Semitic wars. Plato's republic is not alive. Senates, Congress, and parliaments are raising modern address to Adolf Benza as a new Fulbright Nobel Prize world address.